Well, thank you to Vice President Pence. Thank you, Mike. And hello, Pennsylvania. Hello. It's great to be back in the state that gave us the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania Steel, Hershey chocolate. I like Hershey chocolate. The Nittany Lions. You know, the Nittany Lions. They're doing pretty well, too. And the incredible American patriots, just like you. You are patriots. Thank you very much. Thank you. Under Republican leadership, America is stronger than ever before, and we are respected again. Last month, you saw it. We smashed expectations with another 266,000 jobs, and unemployment is now more than a 50-year low. We have never seen what's going on with different groups. Unemployment is at a position we've never had anything like this. You're so lucky I became your president, Norman. I'm only kidding. I have to say I'm kidding, because the fake news back there will take that. They'll take that statement and they'll blow it up, and they'll say he said they were lucky to have him as president. What a horrible thing to say, because they're fake. Anyway, here in Pennsylvania, you had the single best year that you've ever had in the history of our country. Not bad. The Pennsylvania unemployment rate has reached an all-time record low. And I hate to tell you this, you know, when I was campaigning 3.5 years ago, I'd come here. You weren't doing so well, folks, right? You weren't doing so well. Wages were way down, unemployment was way up. It wasn't a pretty picture. Just a few months ago, I visited the new Shell petrochemical plant in Beaver County at $6 billion with a B, $6 billion. It is the largest investment in Pennsylvania history. We're ending decades of failed trade policies that devastated communities all across the state. For generations, American manufacturing was the bedrock of your economy, the bedrock. Remember last administration, you'd need a magic wand, it'll never come back. You'd need we found the magic wand, didn't we? Then came NAFTA, the NAFTA disaster, I call it, one of the worst trade deals in the history of any country, and the loss of 1 in 3 Pennsylvania manufacturing jobs. Your politicians always pledged to fix it. They talk about it for years and years and decades, but they never were able to do it. They came and they went to Washington and they did nothing. But unlike those politicians, I keep my promises. And I love Pennsylvania. You know, I went to school in Pennsylvania. You know that, right? I know it well. And I'm thrilled to report that we are on the verge of ending the NAFTA catastrophe once and for all. Congress will soon vote on my new trade deal, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. After years of waiting, many, many years, many, many decades, they've been looking for this. And then we got it done, and we've been waiting for a long time for Nancy Pelosi to announce USMCA. And she did it on the same day that they announced that they are going to impeach the 45th President of the United States, and your favorite president, I think. And the reason they announced it on the same day, 1 hour later, they announced impeachment a few guys standing behind her. They announced impeachment. And then an hour later, she announced that she's going to do USMCA. You know why? It's a huge deal. And it plays down the impeachment because they're embarrassed by the impeachment. And our poll numbers have gone through the roof because of her stupid impeachment. And think of it this way also. The silver lining of impeachment and this witch hunt, that's the reason they approved USMCA, so that's okay with me, because they approved it, and they're very happy to have it. But honestly, it's an incredible deal for our country. It took too long. It waited in Congress for too long a time. Incredible deal, and replacing the worst, NAFTA. We've also just reached a deal with Congress to invest a record $738 billion more into our great military. When I took over, I will tell you, I became president, think of it, almost 3 years ago. By the way, was that the most exciting night ever? You know, I'm just watching these people. That was one of the greatest evenings in the history of television from a rating standpoint, from an excitement standpoint. What the hell would they do without me and you? They'd be gone. You know, about a month before I ran, I picked up a New York Times. It was like a leaflet that you hand out at a grocery store. And now it's thick. They've got all their reporters covering Trump, Trump, Trump. I can't imagine they won't endorse me, because without me winning, you know what happens? They all go down the tubes. They're gone. All of them. Washington Post, New York Times. There's very dishonest networks. They are very dishonest. Very, very dishonest. No, they're very dishonest people. And I have to say this. Look, and I always have to say this. You have some really great journalists, and you have some honest publications, but not too many of them, I have to be honest with you. The legislator, well, you know that. Does anybody think the media is honest? Does anybody think they're totally corrupt and dishonest? All right. The legislation will also officially establish something that's so important to me, because it's where it's at. And a lot of people used to smile, and now outside of the wall, which we're building, you know, the wall is going up. It gets one of the biggest applause of anything. It's the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces, the Space Force. We're opening up the Space Force. Because you know what? That's where it's at. And everything's built right here in the United States. That's important. And by the way, we build the greatest weapons, the greatest planes, the greatest ships. We build it in the United States. There's nobody that comes close. We have the greatest military equipment anywhere in the world, rockets and missiles. No place builds it like us. We have the best in the world, and we sell it to allies. And they all want to buy from the United States. We've never had a thing like this. We are so hot. We are so hot. And just a few weeks ago, the United States Special Forces brought the world's #1 terrorist to justice. Thanks to the strength and courage of our warriors, and they are great warriors. The bloodthirsty savage known as al-Baghdadi is now dead. And he was quickly replaced by his second in command, and his second in command is now dead. And we've got our eye on and our sights on third also. We know exactly where and when. But you know, it's becoming a very unpopular job. Not a lot of takers, and that's what we want. Go back to living a good, normal life. Because America is winning again. America is winning again like never before. And as I always say, and I've already said it twice tonight, this country is so respected, and we were not respected 4 years ago. We were laughed at. But while we're delivering historic victories for the American people, the radical left Democrats and the failed Washington establishment are trying to erase your votes, nullify the election, and overthrow our democracy. Not going to happen. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't lose too much sleep over it. And I have to say this about the Republicans. The Republicans, and you have a lot of great ones here tonight, your congressmen. You have a lot of great ones. These congressmen are great. The Republicans have never been so united as they are right now, ever. The House, the Senate, we've never been this united because it's all a hoax, and they understand it. They also understand poll numbers, but I'm sure that had nothing to do with it. But the impeachment hoax is about overturning your great 2016 vote, or in the alternative, trying to win the 2020 election. That's not going to happen. Yesterday, the Justice Department's Inspector General released a report detailing the outrageous, scandalous, and unprecedented abuses of power Get her out. Get her out. Get her out. See, these guys want to be so politically correct. Yeah, get her out. You see that? I'll tell you, law enforcement's so great. That particular guy wanted to be so politically correct. Oh. We don't want to be politically correct. I don't know who he was. He didn't do the greatest job. So they tried to frame innocent people in the ludicrous. It all started with the Russia witch hunt, right? Then the Inspector General's shocking report proved that the Obama FBI obtained secret warrants to spy on my campaign based on a phony foreign dossier of debunked smears paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton and the DNC, right? The FBI failed to disclose the nature of the political hit job to the FISA court. They hid it, they deceived it, and they lied. The dossier was written by a discredited foreign agent who, quote, desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being the United States president. What's this? Folks, they spied on our campaign, okay? They spied. Never happened before in the history of our country. and we're really wise to it. We're wise to it. The Inspector General found that the FBI's spying application contained 17 errors and omissions commonly known as lies and deceit. When the FBI, and you have great people in the FBI, but not in leadership. You have not good people in leadership, you haven't had. When the FBI uncovered evidence showing that we did absolutely nothing wrong, which was right at the beginning, they hid that exonerating. You know that. They hid it. They hid it so nobody could see it, so they could keep this hoax going on for 2 years. They knew right at the beginning that it was all a frame-up, a setup. But they hid it so that nobody could see it, so they could keep it going on, thinking they were going to hurt us politically. But now we're stronger politically than we were ever before. And the FBI also sent multiple undercover human spies to surveil and record people associated with our campaign. Look how they've hurt people. They've destroyed the lives of people that were great people, that are still great people. Their lives have been destroyed by scum, okay, by scum. An FBI lawyer took an email, forged an email used as evidence, an act which is now the subject of a criminal referral, okay? What they did is so unbelievable. Oh, I look forward, I don't know, I keep away. I look forward to Bull Durham's report. That's the one I look forward to. And this report was great by the IG, especially since he was appointed by President Barack Hussein Obama. Considering that fact, it was great, because we learned a lot of things that nobody would have found out very easily, although I suspect we would have. We also know from a previous Inspector General investigation that many of these same high-ranking officials were consumed with anti-Trump and anti-Trump people hatred and biased texting about an insurance policy. Let's have an insurance policy. Remember? Peter Strzok and his lover, Lisa Page. Remember? Lisa, I love you so much. Lisa, please, Lisa, please. Lisa, I've never loved anyone like you. We won't allow this to happen to our country. Lisa, please, tell me you love me, Lisa. I love you. Peter, I love you. I love you like I've never loved anyone. And if for any reason she loses, even though she's a stone-cold, corrupt person, if for any reason she loses, Peter, we've got to have an insurance policy. We have to do it. Because we're going to go out, and that's what's been happening for the last 2.5 years, okay? It was their phony insurance policy. So FBI lawyer Lisa Page, so in love that she didn't know what the hell was happening, texted the head of counterintelligence, Peter Strzok, likewise, so in love he couldn't see straight. This poor guy, did I hear he needed a restraining order after this whole thing to keep him away from Lisa? That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. The fake news will never report it. But it could be true. No, that's what I heard. I don't know. I mean, who could believe a thing like that? No, I heard that Peter Strzok needed a restraining order to keep him away from his once lover. Ah, Lisa, I hope you miss him. Lisa, he'll never be the same. But he said he's not ever going to become president. And Strzok looked back. No, he won't. We'll stop it. We'll stop it. Can you believe we found these texts? Can you believe? This is FBI agents at a high level. No, we'll stop it. They're going to stop us from winning an election. And then we have to listen. There was no bias. Oh, there was no bias. Think of these people. They write there was no bias. And yet he's saying, no, darling, we'll stop it. And then they announced there was no buys. Now, you know what we're doing? And it's not easy. And somebody said, a regular president, I don't want to use the word normal because that's not a nice normal refer. A regular president would have been under a table, thumb in the mouth, saying, take me home, mommy, this is too tough for me. It's true. True, they know. And while it was tough on my family, I have to say, very unfair to my family, very tough on my family. I have a great family, tough. For me, it's my life. I do it, it's one thing. But very tough on a family. A thing like this happens, it's a disgrace. But day after day, we're exposing something called that filthy, disgusting, horrible swamp, and we're cleaning it up. And now, after 2.5 years, now that the Russia witch hunt is dead, a big, fat, disgusting fraud, the congressional Democrats are pushing the impeachment witch hunt having to do with Ukraine. But that's already failing. You saw their so-called articles of impeachment today? People are saying they're not even a crime. What happened? All of these horrible things, remember? Bribery and this and that. Where are they? They send these two things, they're not even a crime. This is the lightest, weakest impeachment. You know, our country's had actually many impeachments. You call judges and lots of many impeachments. But it was on today, everybody said, this is impeachment light. This is the lightest impeachment in the history of our country by far. It's not even like an impeachment. These people are stone cold crooked. When a guy like Shifty Schiff, here's a corrupt politician. Right? He made up my statement because, see, I did one thing very good. As soon as I heard about this deal, I released my statement immediately. But he had already made horrible statements. And by the way, the whistleblower defrauded our country because the whistleblower wrote something that was totally untrue. And we broke up the game. Remember, the second whistleblower was coming, right? And then the informer. Who is the informer? I know who the informer is. The informer. So the informer obviously gave him false information because they wrote in the whistleblower report, right? They wrote something totally different from what I said. What I said was perfect, but it screwed up the whole works because most guys would never do that. They didn't even know probably that we had it transcribed, professionally transcribed, word for word transcribed, so beautiful. Am I lucky I had it transcribed? Think of that. Think of that. So when I said release it, and I don't like doing that, because you're releasing it, it's a conversation with a foreign leader. In this case, a very fine gentleman, president of Ukraine, the new president of Ukraine. And we called them up, and we said, would it be okay? Our Secretary of State made the call. Would it be okay? And they didn't know what we were talking about, but they said, yeah, it's okay. And by the way, he, his foreign minister, everybody, did you know they said, there was no pressure. He didn't do anything wrong. There was no pressure put on us. That didn't stop anybody. But we released the conversation, and that gummed it up. Now, all of a sudden, we never heard from the second whistleblower. We never heard about who the informer was. The whistleblower who was going to come out strong, he's disappeared. Where's the whistleblower? He's disappeared. He's gone. Maybe our great congressman can find him, okay? But the whistleblower is gone. He flew the coop because he reported incorrectly. And the IG, who didn't want to look at the conversation, he was so anxious to turn the whistleblower report over to Congress so that Congress could have fun with it, ought to be ashamed of himself. But today, the House Democrats announced these two flimsy, pathetic, ridiculous articles of impeachment. The House Democrats are walking back from everything they claimed with today's announcement. They're now admitting there was no collusion, there was no obstruction of justice, and there were no crimes whatsoever. There are no crimes. It says it. There are no crimes. They're impeaching me, and there are no crimes. This has to be a first in history. They're impeaching me. You know why? Because they want to win an election, and that's the only way they can do it. So the Democrats have nothing, and they've turned the somber process of impeachment, and it was. You know, to me, impeachment is a very ugly word. It's a word I associate with some very bad times in our country. The good news is we're having the best times in history in our country. Okay? But the word impeachment to me is a very, very ugly word. It's a dark, ugly word. But I have to tell you, as bad as it is, it meant something. When you had serious high crimes and misdemeanors, when you had serious crimes, it's impeachment. That would happen every 50 years, every 40 years, every 100 years. This was a big deal. They're making it so like, let's do it every 6 months. They've cheapened the process. They've cheapened the process. These people are so bad, the radical left Democrats. And I actually think that Pelosi, who, by the way, she has totally lost control. She is totally, it's being run now by this crazy AOC +3. AOC +3. No, it's being run by other people. The far left has just grabbed that party. It is so sad to see. And she knew what would happen. I didn't, because I didn't figure the polls would go through the roof. They went out today in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in a place called Pennsylvania. No. The polls are through the roof. They're called swing states, very important states. We won Pennsylvania the last time, and we're going to win it again, but even bigger. Our polls have gone over the last month. They've gone through the roof. You look at it, take a look at it. It came out today. The Firehouse poll, It's an important poll. It was always good. I never looked at it today. I like it a lot. We're up through, nobody can even believe it. So what Pelosi did, as I said, they do the impeachment, then right away, let's do USMCA. Right on top of it. You'd think she'd wait like a day. She wanted to smother the impeachment crap. And that's probably what she did, at least to an extent. But any Democrat that votes for this sham will be voting to sacrifice their House majority, their dignity, and their career. Okay? And some of these partisan lunatics have already said that if they fail this time, think of this. How about low IQ Maxine Waters? How about Green? How about Green? Green. How about Green, where he said, we have to impeach him, because if we don't impeach him, we're not going to win the election. This is what we're dealing with. You know, we're dealing with some very bad people. We're dealing with people that don't respect you. And by the way, you know, they talk about the elite. You're the elite. They're not the elite. You're the elite. You're the elite. You got better education. You got better everything. You're the elite. It always bothers me. They said, the elite. This is the elite. Look at these people. How beautiful. This is the elite. You know who is the elite? You look at those jobs reports where the best in history unemployment for African Americans, best in history unemployment Hispanic Americans, best in history unemployment Asian Americans. You're the elite. You're the elite. But they said they'll do it again because this has been a total bust. They'll do it again. And by the way, the Senate's been so professional, so good, so strong, so solid, just like these gentlemen in the House, so solid. So we have to vote these crazy people the hell out of office, and in 2020, I'm going to work like hell that we take over the House. We have to take over the House. We have to. Right? Got to take over the House, Mike. So here are the facts that Shifty Schiff, is that guy the worst? He comes up to a microphone. No, he comes up to a microphone like 2.5 years ago. I have absolute proof that the President of the United States conspired with Russia. Russia? What the hell do I have to do with Russia? By the way, Russia wishes that Hillary Clinton won. They wish. We are now #1 in the world in energy. Russia's #3. We're beating now Russia and Saudi Arabia. You'd have windmills all over the place if you had crooked Hillary. They'd be knocking out those birds left and right. Those windmills, wah, wah, wah. Darling, I want to watch television tonight and there's no damn wind. What do? I want to watch the election results. Darling, there's no wind. The damn wind just isn't blowing like it used to because of global warming, I think. I think it's global warming. Global warming. No more wind, no more life. The ocean's gonna rise 1/8 of an inch within the next 250 years. We're gonna be wiped out. Look, I want clean air. I want clean water, crystal clean. And that's what we have at a record level. Our air and our water are cleaner now than it's ever been, okay, with all that we're doing. And we haven't closed up all of our industry, and we haven't closed up our businesses and lost all those jobs. And right now, we're by far the largest economy in the world. And if you remember, you could look, if you go back 5, 6, 7 years, in 2019, they say China was going to catch us as the world's largest economy. Guess what? They're way behind. They're way behind. Because over the last 3 years, you see the stock market set 131 records from the day. Think of that. And that means jobs, that means 401ks. I have so many people that come up to me, thank you, sir. My wife is so in love with me because I went up 79% in the 401k. She thinks I'm a genius. She always thought I was a total stiff, a dumb, stupid dope. Now she thinks I'm a financial genius, sir. And all I did was buy some stock. I have stock in a 401k. And you made me into a genius, sir. She loves me so much more than she ever did. Shows you the power of money, right? Isn't that terrible? But I have so many people. 401ks are through the roof. Your jobs are through the roof. We have the lowest unemployment rate. And now, more importantly than anything, wages are up for the first time in many, many years, decades. Decades. You remember 4 years ago, I was here, and I told people, I said, you know, 20 years ago, people made more money than they made 4 years ago. Not now, not anymore. Because people now can not only make a lot more money, if they don't like their job, they go out and they get a different job and they get more money, and ultimately they find one that they love. You have so many opportunities right now. Wages are up, jobs are up, and today we set a new record. Almost 160 million people are working. We've never come close to that number. That's a hell of a number. But just quickly, here are the facts on Shifty Schiff. This honest guy makes up my statements. He said, the president of Ukraine repeatedly declared that there was no pressure, but he didn't want to say that. We said, say it. Say it, you crooked bastard, say it. But he doesn't want to say it. We said, say it. I'd like to force him to say it. He'll walk up to the mic. Ladies and gentlemen. Guy's a total corrupt guy. Listen, just to finish off, a man who I don't know him, but I respect him because the Ukrainian foreign minister, and he said it so strongly, I have never seen a direct link between investigations and security assistance. He just said that. The Democrats who are corrupt refuse to say that. And that's ultimately the only one that matters, the leaders of Ukraine, because they're the ones that know if there's pressure, not some crooked ambassador that's a deep stater or that's a Bushy or that's a Clintonite or that's a Barack Obama ambassador, okay? The ones that matter are the leadership of the country that we're talking about. They refuse to say it because they're dishonest people. There's only one way to stop the rabid partisan Democrats. Pennsylvania voters must show up in 2020 so we can take back the House, hold the Senate, and keep the White House. It's the only way. Only way. Okay. So I'm going to ask these people to come up on the stage because we have warriors with us tonight. We love warriors. Like the guys that killed al-Baghdadi. You know how much press? You know how much press I got? I don't care about press. But Conan the dog got more than I did, and that's okay. Conan was almost electrocuted. He deserves it. They gave me about a day, and that's okay, because the people understand. We made a great decision. And remember this, al-Baghdadi was the founder of ISIS. Al-Baghdadi was a vicious, ruthless person. Al-Baghdadi created a caliphate bigger than the state of Ohio. Think of that. That's a big caliphate. And we now have taken 100% of the caliphate. And we have thousands and thousands of ISIS prisoners. And with Obama, you did nothing. You did nothing. But get your ass kicked. True. True. All right, we're joined tonight by many of the terrific warriors that have helped me so much in so many ways. They fight for us. They really are incredible, and they come right from the state of Pennsylvania. Hey, do you ever notice where Biden keeps saying he's in the wrong state? Like if he's in Ohio, it's great to be in Iowa tonight. If he's in Pennsylvania, it's wonderful to be in the state of Delaware. What is wrong with this guy? What's wrong with him? There's something wrong, okay? There's something wrong. No, he keeps, how many times can you do that? So far, it could happen, because, you know, I was doing 6 and 7 a day that last month, that last beautiful month that I loved. I was doing 6. I left these guys alone. I didn't want to do interviews. They were a waste of time. We just did these big, beautiful rallies. I was doing, and you know, if you start getting a little, you know, I went to Michigan, then I went to Wisconsin, then I went, I'm saying, you know, like, what the hell is going on? These crowds are incredible. And we had the biggest crowds. By the way, to this day, there has never been, and they'll always correct me, in the history of politics, in the history of our country, there has never been anybody that drew crowds like we draw. And I don't have a guitar. I have no guitar. But this has never happened. I mean, if you took Ronald Reagan, and we all like Ronald Reagan, I liked him. I thought he was a great guy. But if he came to Pennsylvania for a rally, you know, if he had 1,000 people in a ballroom or something, you know, I mean, we're getting crowds, 25, 30,000 people, and then there'll be 20,000 people outside. You know, we set up screens outside, and if anybody would like to stand in the rain watching, and to you people out there, I'm sorry. It's pretty rough. But no, there's never been anything like it. One instruction. Get me the biggest arena you can get. We don't have empty seats. I mean, look at this. How many seats is this? 11,000? How much? 10,500, it's packed. It's beyond that. And don't forget, look at the floor. And then you go out. No, and then you go out and you look outside and you have thousands and thousands because there's a spirit for what we're doing. We're fixing our country. We're healing our country. We're making America great again. So I want to ask a couple of our great warriors to come forward. Representative Glenn Thompson. Come up here, Glenn. Come up here. A man that's been a friend of mine for a long time, Mike Kelly. Don't get in a fight with Mike. Come up, Mike. A wonderful man who represents this area, Scott Perry. Representative Lloyd Smucker. Lloyd. A guy who's always there for us, John Joyce. And two people that you all know very well in this state, they bring home the bacon, Dan Muser and Fred Keller. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. I want to also bring back our Pennsylvania party chairman, and I know his grandfather. I shouldn't say that to you. He was a tremendous man, Dan Tabus. But I'm going to introduce somebody that Dan always said had tremendous talent. Little did I know that he'd be working with us, and he's really working well. He's smart. He's tough. Lawrence Tabus. Come on up, Lawrence. Also with us tonight, Pennsylvania Trump Victory Chairwoman, Bernie. You know this, right? You know this person. Comfort, do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? Everybody knows who that is. National Committeeman Bob Asher, RNC Co-Chairman Tommy Hicks, who's been incredible, and my friend David Urban. David. So I just want to thank, this is an amazing group of people, and with their help and the help of everyone here, we are going to set records like we've never set before. You know, I used to say, and I sort of still have to say, 2016, I don't know if anything like that can ever happen, but I think we're much better. You know, all of the things I said, we're going to cut taxes, we're going to cut regulations, we're going to take care of our vets. Look what we did for our vets with choice, right? Look what we did. Look what we did. We now have the ability to fire all of the bad people that are in the VA, right? Fired over 8,000 people that were disrespecting our vets. They wouldn't have done it in prime time, I can tell you that. But what we've done for our vets, what we've done in rebuilding our military, what we've done in so many ways, and we, unlike the Democrats, will protect your Second Amendment, okay? So we've done a job, and we're proud of it, and we have tremendous people, and let's give them a hand, and thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, folks. Vote for these people. Even if you don't like them, vote for them. Oh, that's a beautiful new hat. Look at the hat that guy's got on. How's that hat working out? Is that hat good? I love that hat. Look at this guy that says, "Keep America Great." Should we do the poll? Should we do a poll? Okay, ready? So we have the greatest phrase in the history of politics, "Make America Great Again." And we wait, and we have our new phrase, because we've made America great. I told you, stock market, we've rebuilt our military, we've cut your taxes like at a level that nobody could even think possible. You look at your median, take a look at your median income, take a look at what's happened, the numbers, median household income, take a look at your numbers. With President Bush, it went up $400 in 8 years. With President Obama, it went up $975 in 8 years. With President Trump, it went up 5,000, but whoa. In less than 3 years, that's a big thing. Wait. And then when you add energy savings and you add tax savings, you have almost a $10,000 gain in 3 years. It's a big difference. And that's one of the very big reasons why I think that and regulations, but that's one of the very big reasons why our economy is doing so, because they talk about our consumer is loaded with money. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I appreciate it. But with the help of everyone here, we have now the hottest economy. You know, when I meet dictators and presidents and kings and queens and prime ministers, they all come into that beautiful Oval Office. So beautiful, right? So respected. And the first thing they almost always say, sir, congratulations on your economy. We're trying to do the same thing. I said, you won't be able to do it. You won't. No, they won't be able to. Let them give it a shot. But they all say, congratulations on the great job you've done with the economy. But we've all done the great job. Not me. We've all done. I've been your spokesman, and I've done a good job as spokesman. But they all say that. But we've done a good job in many ways. You know, all of the promises that I made, I'm the only politician in history that I've actually kept more promises than I made. Think of that. In other words, I made here, like a thing like right to try. Nobody talked about right to try. We got right to try. That's somebody terminally ill. We have the greatest medicines in the world, the greatest doctors, the greatest labs in the world. Nobody close. But it takes years to get it approved. And I got it approved, so you can sign a document, get it. And if you want to see the lives that we're saving, it's a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing is happening. Right to try. Right to try. But we've also created 7 million new jobs since the election. If I would have said that, the fake news would have gone crazy. They would have said that's impossible. These people would have gone crazy. They go crazy anyway, and I don't even say it. And right here in Pennsylvania, we've created 160,000 brand new, beautiful jobs. And you have companies moving in and moving back. And as I said, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American unemployment, the lowest ever in the history of our country, the lowest unemployment rates. Wages for low-income workers have gone up more than 10%. Nobody thought that was possible. They're one of the biggest, in terms of a group, one of the biggest beneficiaries. This year, 40 million American families will benefit from the Republican child tax credit, each receiving an average of $2,200. We ended the last administration's war on American energy. The United States is now, and I said it and I'll say it all night long, #1 producer of oil and natural gas in the world, and there's nobody even close. And in the state of Pennsylvania, natural gas production is up 34% since our election. 34. Virtually every leading Democrat has pledged to entirely eliminate American production of oil, clean coal, natural gas. I don't think somebody coming into Pennsylvania, you know, those new petrochemical plants, they don't like them at all. Thousands and thousands of jobs, incredible millions of dollars in taxes. How about going to the state of Texas? We had one candidate who turned out not to be too good a candidate, right? Beto. Remember? So he wanted to get rid of religion, the Bible. He wanted to get rid of guns, and he wanted to get rid of oil. How about going to Texas and saying, no Bible, no oil? Think of this one. No Bible, no oil, no guns. I think you could be Abraham Lincoln and not win that particular race. And it wouldn't be much different in the state of Pennsylvania, that I can tell you. But, you know, somebody that believes in that is Sleepy Joe Biden. He was caught telling a far-left radical activist that he would shut down fossil fuel production in Pennsylvania. You saw that. But the voters of this Commonwealth will never, ever let that happen. Can you imagine a guy coming in, whether it's him or anybody else? They all want to do it. He just raises his hand. He has no clue what he's doing. They raise their hand. Remember, he looked. You want to give illegal aliens health care, even though we're taking it away from our own soldiers and our own. And he looks, and they're all raising their hand. Did you see that? Well, okay, I'll do it too. In addition to replacing NAFTA, I've taken the toughest ever action against China's trade abuses. They want to make a deal so badly. And we're doing well with the deal, but they want to make a deal. Please make a deal. We don't want to pay tariffs anymore. Please, please. Thanks to our steel tariffs, steel mills in Pennsylvania are roaring back to life, and U.S. Steel has just announced a $1 billion investment in Mon Valley Works in Pittsburgh. You know that, right? $1 billion. They weren't investing, they were divesting. The steel companies, it's an amazing achievement. We tax all of the dumped steel, comes in from China and other places, 25%, all of it. All of a sudden, our steel mills are doing again. And we need steel. You know, it's not like you can say, gee, we'll get it from another country. We need that for defense. We need it for our ships. We need it for our planes. We need it. We can't play games with steel. After years of rebuilding other nations, we are finally rebuilding our nation. And very importantly, in everything we do, we are putting America first. Sorry. We gave up on the globalists, folks. You know, let's build the world. Let's forget about our country. Let's just rebuild the world. On no issue have the Democrat politicians more thoroughly betrayed the American people than on the issue of immigration. Far-left politicians, I mean, they're fighting me on the wall. You have no idea, but we're building it, and it's fine, and we have the money coming in from the military. I got from here, from there. Believe me, if I weren't a good developer, you could forget about that wall. I got here, there, These people fought me, and we've started winning in court. And you know what? Speaking of court, we will soon have 182 federal judges, including Court of Appeals. Nobody can believe it. All because Barack Obama gave us 142 empty seats. You know, when you're a president, they always say, I disagree. I think the most important thing we can do is defense, right? But beyond defense, they always say the most important thing you can do is judges and justices of the Supreme Court. We have two great ones. But they always say judges and Supreme Court justices. And when you leave office, I hope in 5 years, 9 years, 13 years, 17 years, 21 years, 25 years, 29 years when I leave office. Now, I'm only doing that to drive them totally crazy. That drives them crazy, even joking about it. We have this idiot comedian who stands up. He's talking to a guest, right? He said, you know he's going to win, don't you? You know it. Guy goes, no, we're going to fight. And they will. No, you know he's going to win. Then he goes, you know he's going to win, and you know he's never leaving, don't you? He's never leaving. And at first I thought he was kidding. He's a whack job. He is totally serious. He honestly believes that. And I don't know, should we give it a shot? Maybe we'll give it a shot. I'm only kidding. Media, I'm only kidding. They won't write that, but that's okay. They won't write the I'm only kidding part. But far-left politicians support deadly sanctuary cities, demonstrating their sneering contempt, scorn, and disdain for everyday Americans. These jurisdictions deliberately release dangerous, violent, criminal aliens out of their jails and directly onto your streets, where they are free to offend, where they are free to kill, where they are free to rape, where they are free to beat up people, except for ICE, because ICE is much tougher than them. They don't beat up ICE. They don't beat up ICE. You're lucky we have ICE. They want to put ICE out of business. That's not happening. They're incredible people. They're great patriots, and they're tough. Thanks to Democrat immigration policies, innocent Americans in all 50 states are being brutalized and murdered by illegal alien criminals. Last summer, at least 19 illegal aliens were charged in connection with grisly homicides, including hacking victims to death and ripping out, in 2 cases, their hearts. Weeks ago, 2 illegal aliens and members of the savage gang MS-13, who we are removing from our country by the thousands, were charged with relentlessly beating a wonderful, beautiful high school teenager to death with a baseball bat and chopping the body apart with a machete. One of the animals accused was previously released by local authorities in defiance of an ICE demand. ICE said, you can't let him go. They wanted him. They would do anything for him. They wanted them to hand this animal over for deportation back to his country, get him the hell out of our country, right? Democrat sanctuary cities also give safe haven to those who commit violent sex crimes. Since Montgomery County, Maryland declared itself a sanctuary jurisdiction in July, we have already identified 9 illegal aliens who have been arrested for rape, sexual assault, including a 26-year-old man charged with raping and viciously strangling a young, wonderful woman who was entering her apartment, innocently entering her apartment. She was raped and killed, strangled to death. Sanctuary City, Maryland. But these are only the cases we know about. Sanctuary cities and jails actively conceal illegal alien crime and criminals from federal government. Federal government wants to take them out, or in some cases, if it's real violence, and we don't want to pay for the cost, but we do, put them into very strong jails. The sanctuary city of Philadelphia, a sanctuary city in Philadelphia, is one of the very worst sanctuaries anywhere in America. Did you know that? I mean, I know Philadelphia well, going to school here. We never heard about sanctuary cities, did we? Weeks ago, an illegal alien charged with rape, sexual assault of a child, and inflicting serious bodily injury was released by Philadelphia to wander free in your communities. And by the way, you may have the worst district attorney or whatever the hell you call this guy. I've been hearing about this guy. He lets killers out almost immediately. What the hell? How did you let that happen? Instead of handing him over while still in jail, they defied ICE. They fought with ICE and set him loose upon an unsuspecting family. Thankfully, at great time and effort, our brave ICE officers were eventually able to track him down, arrest him, detain him, and do what has to be done. How do you elect Democrats when they create a sanctuary city of Philadelphia? I don't get it. 4 MS-13 gang members were also arrested in Pennsylvania in connection with the brutal and sadistic murders of a 21-year-old and a 15-year-old. As we speak, a criminal illegal alien with 3 prior deportations is roaming free in Pennsylvania because he was released by the city of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. You better get yourself a new prosecutor in this place, I want to tell you. That's a horrible thing. No, it's a national story, how he wants everybody to not pay the price. And you're talking about not paying the price for rape, for murder, for other horrible crimes. How stupid can you be? The charges against this alien include rape, aggravated indecent assault, unlawful contact with a minor, indecent exposure, and terroristic threats. Other than that, he was a very nice person. Philadelphia has defied ICE and released illegals charged with everything from assault to kidnapping to drug crimes to sex crimes to homicide, murder. Democrats stand for crime, corruption, and chaos. Republicans stand for law and order, and we stand for justice. We stand for justice. We side with law enforcement and with law-abiding Americans, not ruthless gang members and not violent criminals, aliens that come into our country illegally. They take our payments. Some of these people with these crazy laws that you have, look at what's going on in California. They do better than our great veterans. They do better than citizens of our country. And they advertise, we will take you, we will take care of you, we will pay for it. And then you wonder why we have so many people trying to come through at the borders. But we do a great job. We're removing these criminal, illegal aliens from our country by the thousands. We're sending them home. And we're not letting them come back in. We're being very tough. And Mexico is now giving us 27,000 soldiers at our border. And Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, we signed a very important agreement with each. When their people come into our country, they weren't taking them back. Now they take them back and they say, thank you very much. They weren't taking them back. If we had a murderer from Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, we want to bring them back under past administrations. They'd bring them, they say, we don't want them. Don't land your plane with us. They say, thank you very much, we will take them back. Because we've let them know the price is very bad if they don't do that. Thanks to our tireless efforts to secure the border, illegal crossings are down 75% since May, and the wall is going up at a very rapid pace. The radical Democrats have gotten more and more extreme. And that's why they did this impeachment hoax, because Nancy Pelosi had absolutely no control. She knew what was going to happen. She knew. The radical left has taken over the Democrat Party. Democrats are pushing for a socialist takeover of health care that would strip you of the doctor and coverage of your choice. We have 180 million people with private health care that love it. They're going to take it away from you. I don't think so. Crazy Elizabeth Warren, or as I affectionately call her, Pocahontas, her ridiculous plan would cost $52 trillion. That's more money than we take in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, about 7 years. That's for 1 year. $52 trillion. And you don't have your doctor. I mean, well, she's starting to crash again. You know, I thought I knocked her down. I did that heavy, heavy Pocahontas deal. I give her credit. I thought she was left for, I mean, they were like just little embers. And then she rose, and she became strong, but then she opened that fresh mouth of hers, and it stopped. It stopped. I don't see her as a threat. I don't think she makes it. I mean, you don't know. Crazy things are happening in the Democrat Party. It used to be a sane party, now it's an insane party. So you don't know. But they're all looking at the same thing. I mean, you have Alfred E. Newman who's running, who's like, this guy. This guy, Buttigieg. Can you believe he's doing well? He's like the leading fundraiser. I dream about him. It's true. No, boot edge. But I'm not going too far with any of these people. Because I thought, I was way too early with Elizabeth Warren. We destroyed her too fast. So she came back. But she's going back down again. Did anybody see her beer deal where she said, "Oh, darling"? You ever see that deal? "Darling," it's about her husband. "Darling, it's great to see you. What are you doing here?" It's like, that's her husband. He's supposed to be living in the house. You're here. I don't think she's seen him in 10 years. "Hey, I have an idea. Can I get a beer? Let's get a beer." She wants to be one of the group. "Hey, let's get a beer." Did you ever see such a phony, disgusting deal? Republicans will defend your sacred right to choose the doctor, and you can choose your plan, and you choose the plan that's right for you. We will strongly protect patients with pre-existing conditions. We will also protect your right to get the physician that you want. Virtually every top Democrat also now supports late-term abortion, ripping babies straight from the mother's womb right up until the moment of birth. And this character in Virginia, do you see the Virginia governor? I mean, he gave a whole expose, the baby is born. And then basically, they start talking to the mother, the baby is born. And there's no other word. If the mother decides no, then they execute the baby. Okay? He's the governor of Virginia, and why the Republicans aren't going to win Virginia this next election, 2020, I'll tell you what, we're going to give it a very strong shot. When you have people like that, we're going to give it a very strong shot. But that's why I've asked Congress to prohibit extreme late-term abortion, because Republicans believe that every child is a sacred gift from God. Democrats are now the party of high taxes, high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, socialism, and blatant corruption. The Republican Party is the party of the American worker, the American family, the American dream, and the party of honest Abe Lincoln. Party of Abe Lincoln. I told you about judges. I'm telling you about so many other things. There's nobody that's ever done what we're doing. You look at school choice for every child in America who needs it, including the 50,000 Pennsylvania students who your Democrat governor has blocked from getting school choice scholarships. No scholarships available. What's that all about? How did that happen? I withdrew from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. I recognized Israel's true capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. For years, you watched as your politicians apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America, and we are standing up for the people of Pennsylvania, and you've never had that better year. Never. At stake in our present battle is the survival of the American nation itself. It's the survival. We will destroy our country if these people get in. You know, I say we've done so much in the first 3 years. We'll soon be 4 years. All of a sudden, the time will be up. But it's like when you plant a tree, it needs time to grab on. It needs time. You got to let it, it's got to grab. And that's what we need. We need time. And we have other things we're going to do that are incredible. We still have tremendous regulation cutting that we can do. You know, we've cut more regulations than any president in the history of our country. We did it in less than 2.5 years, at 2.5 years. We did it in less than 2.5 years. And some had 8 years. One had more than 8 years. More regulation. And we have regulation, and you need some regulation. But you don't need regulation that doesn't allow you to build a simple road or highway. So what we've done has been incredible. That's one of the reasons our job numbers are so good. If you want your children to inherit the birthright of American liberty that generations of Americans have fought and died for to secure, then we must devote everything we have toward victory in 2020. And we have to get rid of the Democrats in the House of Representatives. They are stone cold crazy. Only this way can we save the America we love and clean up Washington corruption once and for all. With your help, we will lift millions more of our citizens from welfare to work, dependence to independence, and poverty to prosperity. We have tremendous prosperity going on in our country, and the people in this room are, I mean, you know what's happening. You know what's happening with your families. You know what's happening with your jobs. You've never had a time like this. You know, they always say, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I mean, who is better off now? Everybody, I think. Everybody. But together, we will elect a Republican Congress to create a fair, safe, sane, and lawful system of immigration. We will enact trade deals that result in more products proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We just finished a deal with South Korea, great new trade deal. We just finished a $40 billion deal with Japan. We're in the process of getting our deal done. Let's see what happens. They want to make it more than I do because we're taking in a lot of money. We haven't taken in money from China ever, and it's coming in now by the billions. And when they target our farmer, I give our farmers that money that they've been targeted, and our farmers are thrilled. And we have a lot left over. But we will achieve new breakthroughs in science and medicine, finding new cures for childhood cancer, and ending the AIDS epidemic in America. We'll have that done within 10 years. And that could have started earlier than the beginning of our administration. We'll have that done in less than 10 years. Think of that. The AIDS epidemic, we'll have it ended in America within less than 10 years. We will defend privacy, free speech, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. And above all, we will never stop fighting for the sacred values that bind us together as one America, one great country, one America. We support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. We stand with the incredible heroes of law enforcement. We believe in the dignity of work and the sanctity of life. We believe that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true American way. We believe that children should be taught to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we live by the words of our national motto, "In God we trust." We stand on the shoulders of generations of Pennsylvania patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. Pennsylvania is the place where our founding fathers declared American independence, where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, and where General George Washington led his men across the Delaware on Christmas night. They used the password. You know what the password was? Victory or death. Victory or death. How incredible is that? Victory or death. Pennsylvania is the state that gave us self-made titans of American industry, from Andrew Carnegie to Milton Hershey. I love Hershey. I love Hershey. And Henry J. Heinz. Pennsylvania is the place where strong American workers mind the call, worked the railroads, and forged the steel that made America into the greatest and most powerful nation in the history of the world. And we are making it even greater every single day. It's greater than ever before. And proud citizens like you help build this country. And together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. They are trying to take your power away. It will never, ever happen. With your help and with your devotion and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are going to keep on winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. America is thriving like never before. And ladies and gentlemen of Pennsylvania, the best is yet to come. Because together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you.